Hey, this is John Fernay, the co-host of the Maryland Crabs, and I am here today with a Maryland crab cake for your listening pleasure. What's a crab cake? It's not quite a full episode, it's just a little snippet. Stay tuned and check it out. And make sure you check us out on themarylandcrabs.com. You can follow us on Twitter at MD Crabs Podcast or find us on Facebook at the Maryland Crabs Podcast. And don't forget, subscribe, rate us, iTunes. Go there now. Hey, on the phone is Steve Samaras and Constance Polamalu from Zachary's Jewelers. How are you guys today?
We are great.
Doing well.
I'll tell you, we thought it would be great to get out and talk to some of the businesses that have been affected by this shutdown. And I don't think there's any business in existence in the state of Maryland that hasn't been affected in some way, and obviously others in different ways than others. And I just sort of wanted to see Zachary's Jewelers has been a staple of Main Street for quite a long time. Probably our head cheerleader in the business community, I would say, in Annapolis. And I just wanted to see, Steve, how are you doing? How are you making out here? I mean, I know the store itself is closed.
It is, John. We are. We've looked into some other direction and moving forward with what we've been planning to do for a number of years, and creating an additional revenue stream, and we're excited about it. Well,
I'll tell you personally have been through quite a lot. I mean, obviously there's a lot of businesses that were through the recession back in 2007, 8, 9. We can argue that it continued on through 10, 11, and 12, but you had a devastating fire like almost 20 years ago.
It has been 15 years ago, the day after Thanksgiving, which is the beginning of the holiday season for anyone in retail for sure.
You've persevered through all of that. I mean, what is your thoughts on what we're going through here now?
Well, because it's not just a single business that is experiencing any significant challenge, but all of us. It's it's an anxious time for anyone, and certain businesses are being more affected than others. Some even positively, as the grocery stores and liquor stores, I guess, are doing pretty well right now.
Right, yeah. I heard liquor was up 55%.
Unbelievable. Well, we've been supporting that for sure, Challie and I.
I saw a funny video the other day, and it was a guy out on his run, and he says, hey, this is recycling day, so I'm just going to take a peek. And he went down his street, and he just took pictures of like everybody's recycling bin, and it was just nothing but beer bottles and wine bottles and booze bottles. It was hysterical. It was like, okay.
I believe it.
we know who's smiling on the way to the bank today.
We all find out, I think, John, what we're made of when we have these adverse conditions that we're immersed into, by no means of our own. And some people, I would think that most people handle it better than they anticipate they would. And,
I agree with you. I think that you look at this, and I mean, if as horrible as it sounds, I mean, this is a uniter for us. I mean, we are truly all one. At this point. I mean, it's Zachary's Jewelers is no different from the Annapolis T-shirt company, is no different from Starbucks or, City Dock Coffee or the Market House or, Pip's Hot Dog Stand. Everybody is in this together, and we're going to come out of it together. And I am absolutely convinced of that. We're, it'll be a little bit of a different way of we're doing business, but that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I've written a lot of cards to dear friends and clients over the last few weeks, and I can tell you that one sentiment that I share with a lot of people, there is a silver lining in anything, any situation, challenge that we have, that we're faced with today, and that is, look how close the families are. The family unit has been rejuvenated over the last few weeks. Most, I would hope, in a favorable light. I'm certain there's some out there that have been kind of challenging, but to be forced to be with the people you love and to better understand who they are. I mean, it's a great opportunity to learn about that.
It really is. Well, business-wise, I mean, you guys are still doing business. Obviously, it's vastly different than the business that you were doing a month ago.
Yes.
But what, and Constance, I understand that you're the one that's sort of spearheading and steering that ship.
Yeah, so it's been a great opportunity for us in a lot of ways. I think you can gather it from Steve's speech, and anybody who knows Steve knows that he's eternally optimistic, and so we try to carry that through our entire company. And in that light, we're using this time to do some things that we've always wanted to do and never really had the time to do, and being available to our customers any time of day, no matter if they're still in Annapolis or not, has always been a goal of ours. And so now we have the opportunity to really focus and all hands on deck look at what does that look like, what does that mean, and really take to heart our mission statement of bringing humanity to what we do every day, and really incorporating that into our business in the digital side as well. So,
I mean, you guys have always had a web presence, obviously, and I think any business has to have a website. But I mean, you haven't really been big on online sales. I mean, I can go to any number of jewelry stores and buy something online, and that's happened all the time. But you guys have not really been a big online sales thing, and that's something that you've moved into.
So we have, in a way, but we're doing it the Zachary's way. Our mission statement is, in everything that we do, we ask ourselves, what more can we do to bring humanity to retail? And so with that mission statement, a traditional e-commerce shop just doesn't work. It's not who we are. We are never going to be the company where you just log on in the middle of the night and click, 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 buy something. And, you don't have an opportunity to speak to anyone. We're still real people. We still are very much focused on personal interaction with those sales. So now you can log on to our website, and Paige is available. She's logged on as we speak, and you could say, hey, Paige, I need help finding the perfect gift. And that fits us a little bit better, well, a lot better than, kind of what you would see from, a big box retailers.
So I can actually chat with somebody with an expert at Zachary's on helping to select a gift, or whether it be a ring or a piece of jewelry or something like that. So is that just a chat service? Is that available 24/7?
It is not available 24/7 right now. So we're still trying to work through some of the kinks of it, but trying to keep it open during what would be normal business hours. And then as we get a better grip of it, Paige will be training some of our other team members how to do it. And so then we'll be able to extend that time. But, if she's not logged on and you send an email, that actually comes to Steve and myself. And we look at it and we go, okay, well, we need to address this, and we get the information passed along to the next person, if we don't just deal with it ourselves. So.
Well, how does it work? Is this just a chat, or is this a video conference, or?
So that is a live chat. Separately, we are, so it's kind of like an old school chat room. I don't know if you ever went on AOL Instant Messenger back in the day.
I'm not going to admit to being that old, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. So that's really what the live chat is similar to. We are launching this week virtual appointments. So customers will be able to book an appointment with their favorite or preferred salesperson and have a Zoom conference with them. And so we had a team today working solely on what does that look like, troubleshooting it, getting those standards together so that you can have a conversation with Nikki or Paige or Sarah, these salespeople whose faces you're used to seeing downtown.
Don't forget Errol.
Don't
forget Errol. He won't let us forget him, John.
We will not forget Errol, although I can't promise that Errol's virtual appointments will be up and running by the end of the week.
But so okay, so this is you're going to be Zooming appointments.
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
Now,
so we have already been taking emails and phone calls. We've had quite a few engagement rings go out the door since we've closed, because people are still falling in love and people are still wanting to commit to one another forever, so we feel the need to be there for our customers and our potential customers. But
last time we checked, John, birthdays and anniversaries hadn't been closed.
They hadn't been closed out. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, again, are you in the store to do this? I mean, if somebody is looking to buy a ring or a watch or a necklace or something like that, I mean, is this somebody in the store on a Zoom that, they can hold this up? Or are you looking at have stuff that's been photographed that you can display on like a screen?
Yeah, so we have a skeleton crew that is able to go in, and those of us who do go in are, taking a lot of precautions. We're very strict about, whether or not we leave our houses other than to come to the store, just to keep everybody healthy. And so we can arrange to have videos taken, and that's how we've done a lot of the engagement rings lately, is that a customer will reach out to a salesperson and say, I really want this kind of diamond and I want to put it in this type of setting. How can you help me? And then we'll go in and take some videos of diamonds that fit what they're looking for and some rings that fit what they're looking for. And mostly we've been doing custom. So we take the rings that they sort of like and get those images over to our sketch artists, and they, draw up a sketch, and then we're able to move forward from there.
Wow. So you haven't missed a beat on the personal service that you guys are known for.
No, we're trying not to.
I mean, that was one of my questions as you were going on with this. I mean, you're known for your service. I mean, you go in there, and I mean, I bought several things for you guys, and it's just, it's always like this, what was she like? I mean, it's not just, what do you want? Here it is. This is what it cost. I mean, it's like, what does she look like? What color hair? What color, all that kind of stuff, which is something foreign to me, but it's perfect for a customer. And now you're able to translate that into the e-commerce world, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing that, Steve would never brag about this and, advertise it, but he's committed to keeping our entire team working. So they're available. They're answering emails. They're working on their, when they don't have custom projects or things that they're working on for customers, they're building their knowledge and creating content to share with customers. So yeah, I mean, that sentiment of Zachary's being a service first company is very much still here. It just looks different now.
I guess so. Wow. Well, I definitely got to go check it out. I mean, the best, obviously, it's zacharysjewelers.com. We'll get you there. And is that one of those ones where one of the salespeople come right up onto you as you're browsing? Like, hey,
yep.
You need help?
Yes, it is.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty, I'd say it's pretty high tech there for a high touch business, which is pretty.
Well, John, I have to comment on this whole digital platform that Constance has created with the rest of the team. It is something that we committed. She committed to me that if it didn't represent Zachary's as we project ourselves, like you've mentioned just now, as a service-oriented company first, with a face on it, with a feeling, with emotion, then she wasn't going to get involved in it. What she is creating now does just that. We're going to come out of this, and I certainly don't want to brag about anything, but we're going to come out of this in a far better position as a business than before we went into the challenging time that we faced.
That's fantastic. And I mean, I admire you because you guys have not, I mean, it's real easy to go with an e-commerce thing. Okay, I want to sell widgets or whatever the heck it is I'm going to sell online. I just got to put a picture of it and buy here, and some factory sends it out and everything else. But I mean, you guys have not really gone that route. You've turned around and you've taken your process and said, how can we put this online, as opposed to taking an online process and saying, how can we interact that with our store, which is probably the exact way it needs to be done.
It is for us.
Yeah, I think it's the only thing that makes sense for us.
Well, I will say also, and I want to talk to you a little bit, Steve, as we start to wrap up here. And yeah. I've been, we're Facebook friends, and we're real friends too. Okay, so we're beyond that. But you and your wife, Challie, have been doing these videos nearly every day, just because rain does play a role in that, called One Love Annapolis. And it does have some roots with Errol, as we mentioned. And you being a lifelong, is that correct, Annapolitan? Or
yes,
pretty close.
Native Annapolitan.
You know where the bodies are buried? You know where the skeleton, you know what closet the skeletons are in. But I mean, you've got all these great stories and memories from way back when, and you've been going to these businesses and these organizations all over town and just telling a little snippet of it. I mean, you've been to Heroes, you've been to talking about the Annapolis bowling alley, you've talked to the spot that you love down in Bay Ridge, where you've got that great view out of the bay and the Bay Bridge, and they're just so real and so fantastic. I mean, why did you decide to do that? And I want to share something. And am I able to share? I mean, they're on your personal page. I know they're public. Would you mind if I shared some of them?
Not at all. Not at all.
What made you do that?
Well, as you referred to in the beginning, we had a major catastrophic fire the day after Thanksgiving in 2005, and that, along with other challenging times in my life in business, the recession in 2007-8, just to name another. There are a lot of anxious people out there, and when you're faced with what we have in front of us today with this virus and what it's done to the entire business community nationwide, worldwide, there are a lot more people out there that are concerned, don't know what's going to happen after this is all over. And Constance and I had a conversation with Challie, and we thought it might be a good idea to share some things that didn't necessarily speak to one's challenges and what they might be faced with, and talked about what it is we have to be appreciative of in this community, and the fact that we want to be able to support each other through all of this. There are businesses that, the hospitality business, the restaurants and bars that are trying to stay afloat with carry-out service, and we wanted to promote that. We wanted to promote other businesses, but it wasn't all about that. It was about providing a better feeling about where we are, and that's why we've shared our favorite things. We've coined it in that way to show people what Challie and I enjoy about where we live and where we do business, about the people in our lives, about places we like to see, but more importantly, people have, my sisters, for example, have often referred to me as the great storyteller of the family. So I thought maybe if we mix that, my storytelling ability with some of the places that Challie and I like to, things we like to do, that it might be of interest to some people and take their minds off of the immediate concerns that they might have.
It also really puts a face to these businesses. I mean, you sit there and you look, and at Mills Wine, you can go to Adam's Ribs, you can go to any of these places, and I mean, you're in there. It's like, hey, these are the people, and it's something I think that a lot of people forget is that there are real people, there are real faces behind every business that you walk into.
There really are,
and that's important to remember, that it is your neighbor, that it is your neighbor's friend or whatever it may be, and the history and the information that you have is just phenomenal.
Well, thank you for the compliment there.
And go on. What's the One Love Annapolis? Where did that? Now, I remember you told that in the very first video. I want you to tell that one more time.
Well, Errol and I have been together for 38, 39 years. And Errol, being a native of Belize, Central America, his favorite artist growing up was Bob Marley. So anytime he exits a room or comes into a room, his first and last statement, one love, in reference to Bob Marley's, one of his recordings. Yep. And it's a genuine feeling of love and concern for whoever he is saying it to. And that, knowing Errol as you do, he conveys that warmth and that generous feeling to anyone he speaks with. So we thought, what better time to convey a thought of love than in these times when we all need a little bit more friendship, a little bit more out of our families, and to share that love that we have for our community. So we thought no better title to put on these little short videos than One Love Annapolis.
Makes perfect sense to me. Well, I know, Constance, you've got connections to Pittsburgh and even the Steelers, but we're not going to hold that against you there, because there's some other. I see some other connections as we're talking about this, and famously, Fred Rogers had said, you in times of trouble, you always look out for the helpers. There's always people that are willing to help you. And I certainly think that, Steve, what you're doing with the One Love Annapolis videos, that certainly classifies for that. What Zachary's is doing to keep their people working, to reinventing themselves, and really to sort of energize the community, because this is a temporary thing. I mean, this is a devastating thing. Let's not sugarcoat it, but it is a temporary thing. And we're going to come out of this, and we're going to come out of it stronger, smarter, bigger, better, and better. And it's just a matter of when, which should be sooner than later, I would hope. And, I think you guys have got the right attitude. I mean, you're taking lemons and making lemonade. Is that right? Yeah,
that is right.
Is that
we try.
Well, when you look at the alternative, John, the way I've looked at it is there's no other place to be than to try and approach things from a positive perspective, because the other side doesn't look too good to me.
You're well on the way. I think this is exciting about the e-commerce, and I love the way that you've developed it. You put Zachary's Jewelers online. You didn't bring online to Zachary's Jewelers. And I think there's a very big distinction between that. Virtual appointments is wonderful. You can sit there and speak with Errol, but maybe not this week. We're not sure whether he's going to be up on this week, but that's Ed or whoever you want to speak with to get whatever it is. I mean, whether you're getting engaged or married. What would happen? Okay, if all of a sudden, presuming that it's not a custom thing, what if I were to buy a watch, and all of a sudden, how does that get to me?
So that depends. We are shipping. Shipping is an option. On a limited basis, we're able to make deliveries, but we're just trying to be really cautious about how and when we're doing that. So yeah, it kind of depends, but we're doing everything we can to get anything you might need to you quickly.
Okay, and I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Okay, so I've ordered a watch. And it comes to me, and I thought that blue face was going to look really good, but I really don't like it. I think I want to have a different color face on that. This is not a problem with you guys, right?
No, you keep tough luck. It's yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zales.
Of course not. We, very flexible return policy. That's not even an issue. I mean, John, we're local, and we've just these people we deal with on a daily basis, and the ones that we haven't dealt with, once they do business with us, they'll find out what the Zachary's way is.
Yeah, I think it's really important I'm not sure people always understand how personal our business is for us. So when something goes wrong, it's embarrassing for us. And when somebody's not happy, we're not happy. So we really, try to carry that through everything. And, you wouldn't expect us to tell you, well, sucks for you, you keep it when you're in the store. You shouldn't expect that from us online either.
I can't think of a better way to do it. Constance and Steve, thank you very much for your time, and certainly but more importantly, for what you're doing for the community. I think I'm going to link all these One Love Annapolis videos. I think everybody owes it to themselves to sit down there and watch. They're only 2-3 minutes long each. You'll definitely learn some history about the city of Annapolis and the businesses that have been here for a long time, from your childhood. And,
oh, yes.
I know... when you were
a lot of the stories come from that childhood too, which is sometimes difficult for me to remember.
It happens when you get to people of a certain age, Steve.
I know. Well, there are a lot more to come. We have a few already in the can.
Fantastic. Well, both of you guys, I want you to make sure you stay safe. It sounds like you guys are making sure of that as you go about your business. If anybody has any kind of jewelry needs, Zachary'sJewelers.com is the only place you really need to go. You can talk to anybody you want there on the virtual appointment. Steve, keep up with the videos, please. As long as, and I hope you only get a chance to make like 2 or 3 more, and then we can all get back to work. But, in the meantime, definitely anybody that's listening, you want to check those out. I will put a link to them in the show notes. Constance, thank you very much for what you're doing. I think this is great that you're able to take your vision and get it moving, which is awesome.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, John.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, can I go wash your hands, and we'll talk to you later.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
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 This has been the Maryland Crabs Podcast with Tim Hamilton and John Fernay. Sure to follow them at all the regular places: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and online at themarylandcrabs.com. Take a moment to rate us on iTunes. Now, get the hell out of my kitchen. Seriously, go!
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.